Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you're currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Righteous Force, Paul Hall, 10th Man, Chocolate Sane and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Good morning.
Hello, hello.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Heard people in the pre-show sharing their corona lockdown stresses and tribulations.
And recipes.
And recipes about ribs.
That doesn't seem to be, there's not much suffering there.
Not to like some Corona ribs to pass the time.
I mean, I've got ribs recipes. I just tend to keep them close to my chest.
Nice.
Any signs of a physical Earth curve, Edge?
Not from Laughlin.
Anybody?
All us gave that up.
They've given up proving Earth curve, have they?
Yeah.
I like it.
We don't have a geometric horizon, apparently. So
Gotta exhale.
yeah.
We do not have a geometric horizon. Except in the geometric calculation where it's claimed to be obscuring things in the distance, and they can calculate that with exact numbers, feet and inches, perspective exclusive, of course. Moving on, any signs of axial rotation? Axial rotation?
No.
No? Anybody got any proof that Earth is spinning? It's definitely claimed to be spinning.
Come on, nobody got some hurricanes for us? Hurricane wind is going straight. Nobody?
Now that's a good question you just said there, because I remember saying that last week to a couple of people I know when I brought it up. I said, look outside, is the Earth spinning? They looked at me, no. And I go, then why do you believe when they say it is? And then they just had a blank stare.
Any scientific evidence of gravity? They do like to argue about that. Someone's got to have something in that regard. Come on. Anthony Riley's keeping himself scarce.
They don't really like to argue about gravity much, though. Now they try to use other words like weight. You know, they try to say gas has weight. So that's what's keeping it here. I mean, a lot of them don't like to even say gravity. We got other people who will say the force of down. It's like, I mean, I don't know. Almost like they've kind of thrown it to the wayside, but not really.
They need it but don't want to say it because they know it'll get pummeled.
Yeah, that.
Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology or astrophysics?
All they have is the first step of the scientific method, which is observation of something. After that, it becomes pseudo-pop science.
There are no hypotheses from any of those fields then?
Nope. Been waiting. Ask Dr. Becky. I'm still waiting. I'm not going to hound her each time. She's got the message several times, and other people have gone there and asked for the same thing, but still no response.
Yeah, she doesn't get it. She's still putting the word science when describing thought experiments about capturing the moon. She clearly has no idea what science actually is. She thinks sitting at a desk and doing computer work and busy work is science. She's just wrong.
Yeah, I think the excuse for all of my chat will be said to be lost in the black hole somewhere. of the internet.
Removed. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Where's Arwen?
So,
He's probably still doing his show. He probably runs over. He's got a lot to say at the moment.
All right, I'll take over for Arwen. It's over there.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Nope.
Any evidence?
I mean, it's almost actual distance?
Almost
That's
actual
what I heard.
position. That was great. I love those little moments. We had a guy on yesterday that said that he asked us a question in regards to a model. I can't even remember the question because as soon as he started asking us about where the position of the sun is and what it's doing, I'm just waiting for him to end so his whole claim can't be claimed to be rumpused or whatever. So once he's made his claim, it's like, well, what are you actually asking us for? This not actual position? He's like, yeah, it's not actual. It's like, well, who cares then? Well, it's almost actual. It's like, what? Violate that law of non-contradiction. Good morning, Arwen. Speak of the devil.
I'm not the devil. But
Right,
good
that's
morning,
just a turn of
anyway.
phrase.
As far as I know.
Arwen.
What's up?
Sky. What's up with you?
Oh, it's almost Arwen.
Almost. It's almost a real Arwen.
Almost actual. I know. One day they will figure it out how to make it actual.
It's an apparent Arwen.
What?
It's an apparent Arwen. Not an
An
actual
apparent-
Arwen, just an apparent Arwen.
No, I'm pretty sure I am actual.
Not for me.
No, you're refracting.
He definitely refracted from where I'm sat. He's definitely not geometric. Moving
Am I?
on. Any evidence of the R value? Arwen.
R. No.
Arr.
Well, wouldn't they need a physical geometric horizon if to prove an R value?
Yeah. Well, the physical geometric horizon is based on the R value. It gives you the horizon. That's what the geometric horizon is. It's claimed to be obscuring things in the distance, and the way you get that physical location that's blocking things according to their perspective omitting calculator, you've got a physical
Well-
Earth curve obstruction. That would be their edge. Earth curve, they used to call it. Also known as
Well,
the
if we
geometric
can't-
horizon. Go on, sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, if you can't see Earth curve and it's a former thing, but it was said to be the geometric horizon, physical Earth curve, and it's no longer there, and they got that by R value, but it's not there. It was always a Jedi mind trick, a thought experiment, and there was never an R value to begin with.
So, shout out to Mind Warped, says, how come I was kicked in Discord? Feelings equal hurt. I don't know. I don't actually run the Discord server. I can't answer those questions, Mind Warped. It's not my server. So I would only imagine that you got kicked either by accident or you broke a rule, maybe. Well, I'm not saying you have, but I don't know. It's not my server.
Mind warps can get a little rude every now and then.
Is that so? Mind Warped says she's got a channel as well. She's subscribed to Mind Warped. I would say click on the 3 buttons, but they've taken that facility away for some reason. I don't know why. But Mind Warped does make videos. Type him into the search bar. What I'd normally do is I would do that, to make it easier on the audience. I'd click on the 3 buttons, go to his channel, go and find the video, click on share, get the link, and then put it in the chat. But I can't do that now, and obviously running a live show, I can't now go away to a separate tab and search for Mind Warped. So there's no easy way of just going to him as a viewer that's like literally giving me money and saying, hey, actually this guy giving me money right now, he's got a channel, you should go and check him out. Because obviously he's not going to be recommended to you. Heaven forbid. If he was making videos about bloody pottery, he might be recommended to you. But you know what I mean? I can't click on the 3 dots myself and actually just go to his channel for the audience like right now. That isn't a possibility anymore. Obviously, Ute and I were chatting about this because Ute's first to notice these sorts of things, as am I. Fairly familiar with YouTube.
It's worse than just that, Nathan. Because besides not being able to check out channels as easily, you also cannot fully check if somebody in chat is actually who they say they are. There's no way to check now, to go to the channel and see if they're actually that person. See?
I see. So
It's
what you're
terrible.
saying is it gives people the ability to go onto a channel as me, and then nobody could double check if it was actually me or not. So in times gone by, we'd just click and say, oh no, 0 subscribers, clearly not that account, a fake version of that account, or sock.
Yep.
No, you're
Yeah,
right.
unless you've already given them a wrench, because then you could compare it to that. It's like, oh, he doesn't have a wrench. Well, then he's definitely not the real one. But you have to have given it to them before that. Very tough now.
Righteous is earwigging this, by the way. Mind warped. Righteous knows everything about the Discord server, and I'm sure he's earwigging this conversation and figuring out what's what. Maybe speak to him or Betty. She's the server owner. Anyway, moving on. Where were we in the?
Well, I was going to say something about that. Mind warp. Don't talk about pottery, and you won't get kicked out of Discord.
Don't talk about what?
Pottery, clay dishes.
Plate dishes.
Plate dishes. You said
pottery. Oh, it was you spinning off my joke. Okay. Right. Stick to flat Earth. You should be fine.
Still don't get it.
It's fine. Moving on. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
The body of science?
That's been changed to the whole body of human knowledge, by the way.
Really?
See, look in chat. There's a fake sleeping warrior. See?
There's what?
There's a fake sleeping warrior in chat.
How do you know it's fake?
And there's no way to check.
How do you know it's fake? Oh, he hasn't got a wrench. And he would have a wrench, wouldn't he? I think he's got a wrench on this channel.
No. Does he have a wrench on your main?
I think so.
Nobody has a wrench,
one of the few people I actually trust to mod my main channel.
But Sleeping Warrior would never say it like that. If he'd had criticism, he'd say that. He would never say something like that. It's not so typical of him, so pretty sure it's not him.
So suddenly we've got a sock problem again. Right, I see. Interesting. So, molten iron core, presupposed spherical Earth, centre thereof. Anybody?
Got several problems with that. Number one, how would they know? Second, if this ties into gravity, if past the curing point. So, no, it's all made up.
Last, but by no means least, any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten... No, what are we on? Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
There's no way to even check that. The only way that could work is if you presuppose it and overlook the natural consequence.
It's a claim that can't be backed by any proof of any kind. They just make it up.
That's another way of saying it. Yep.
Cool. That concludes the housekeeping. It was a fake sleeping warrior.
Alright, found out what happened to Mind Warped. Just got booted by a bot.
A bot?
Posting referral links, so it was automated. But he's all good now.
Really? I didn't know that could happen.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
There's robots kicking people out of the Discord server. What has the world come to?
How does that work?
It's a robot, Arwin. There's no reasoning with it. There's no rationalizing with it. And it absolutely will not stop.
That's correct. But it still has to be programmed to do that. So is that like that's internal workings, right? That's just a bot of the server. So how does it do that?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's the first time I've heard of this. Go ahead, Righteous, if you want to fill us in. I don't mind.
Xerxes was a programmer. I wash my hands of this. So I don't know what she did. She's got it set up for specific ways, I guess.
Whoever bought that excuse is a fool.
Maybe Mind Warp was spamming. And that's what made it ban.
Chocolate, was I roboting there?
Let's just all guess.
Just stop.
Where are the ballers, Nathan? They're gone. After Geometric Horizon, they all left.
Yeah, that's okay by me. Occasionally we get
maybe
dudes like
they're at the funeral.
What's that about funerals?
They're at the funeral.
They're at the funeral for the geometric horizon that they've never seen. Can never have claim to see or measure.
But come on, guys. Maybe the geometric horizon is just almost visible.
They've lost their curve, Armin.
Hey, mind warped. Mind warped 5,000. No, didn't work. He's obviously having issues as well. Subscribe today, Mind Warped. You'll have to look him up. Because I can't give you a link.
The best advertising he's ever got.
Nah, I've plugged Mind Warped.
Okay,
loads.
Mazar Salim says in chat that he got kicked because he was all caps talking. That's a good enough reason.
Let's just all have another guess. We'll have to ask Betty. She's the only one who knows.
All right.
Thanks, Good Servant, for the super chat. I think Good Servant's got a channel as well. I can't remember if I've checked it out or not, but I will be. So check out Good Servant as well. He often mentions that his channel's doing well, so I can only assume that's the case.
Dank has offered an alternative theory. I was not even going to go there. Anyway. What's up on the menu?
Hold on, go on. Dank's offered a theory. Oh God, this is going to be about why Mind Warp's been blocked, not about the nature of reality or the situation
Yes.
in regards to our
Yeah.
channels and their limited audiences. One thing I have noticed, I'll tell you something funny thing, right? I know typically, right, this show would have reached 300 people because I keep a very close eye on it, and it's about half what it was. So it's about what we are now, 162 people watching, so considerably less. But the people the show is reaching are like the most dedicated of the audience members. So if you look as the people scroll by in chat, those are the people who are the most dedicated to the show. So you don't get as many tertiary viewers. Now, obviously, that's strictly not the right description, because it's not even tertiary when there's subscribers that aren't reaching your, that aren't getting your material either. But nonetheless, the people who are getting it are the people who do actually genuinely want to watch it, and they get to find out when it goes on. And you just think, okay, so what's happening? Albeit I can't fully explain how, in terms of algorithmically what's occurring. There's no simple, well, it's just I'm not going out live. I am going out live. Well, you're just not reaching your subscribers. Well, I do reach a certain number of subscribers. Obviously, there's an audience here. It's going up, 174. Thank you to all who shared. And thanks for the super chat, Light Energy. Really appreciate it. Maybe Light Energy, subscribe to her. She definitely makes music.
Yes, she does.
Anyway, I can't put my finger on it. I've tried to get to the bottom of that rabbit hole of what's going on, and I can't get to the bottom of it. I can't figure out how it is the case, because there's a seeming shortage of YouTube videos and a seeming abundance of viewers, right? There's a disconnect there. When I get recommended stuff that I've watched before, I'm like, bloody hell, there's how many million YouTube videos updated every single day, or uploaded every single day, and I'm getting suggested repeats that I've already watched. You get halfway through a video and go, I've already watched this. Why am I being recommended this at the top of my homepage? And then you see a trickle of people's subscribed videos coming through, very few live, if any. And you're like, this makes no sense. Anyway, I was watching a channel called Thrice 8 Hermes. I've recommended him once before on this channel. He was recommended to me by John LeBon. Anywho, he was describing various different philosophical aspects in terms of the current situation. And one of the things that caught my attention that I hadn't really given much thought or consideration to was the element of boredom. Now, this is quite a key programming tool. And as soon as he said it, obviously I'm aware of what boredom is. But I'm like, that's something I've never looked into. How would it be that boredom is useful as a tool? Now, I can speculate and I can sort of logically work my way through how it might be useful. But I've not done any research into it. And I'm like, okay, this guy's saying it's a very key element to the paradigm that they use to mentally enslave us, if you will. But he was saying, boredom's a key issue, and that's the thing I've been moaning about. I'm like, why is it that I've got a massive audience and yet I'm bored with the material that I'm getting? That's really strange, isn't it? Shouldn't there be loads of videos? And then I just thought it applied to me only. And then I hear someone like Hoovy's Garage, just a car guy, saying, I'm getting less and less views. And you're like, but that makes no sense. When you're putting a video out, because you've put less material out, I'm uber keen to watch it. And you'd think that would just translate to lots of other people in the same boat. They've watched everything on Netflix. They've watched everything on YouTube. Now it's time to watch it twice when there's a new video out that's not reaching anybody. So there's a seeming shortage of material, even though there's a massive upturn in the amount of people actually putting stuff out, because they're all sat at home with nothing to do. So they're figuring ways of making material. People like John LeBon, he's commenting on the fact that he's been uber productive on YouTube. He's made something like 20 videos. Because what else is he going to do with his time? Same here, right? I can edit away videos. Actually, I haven't changed my routine that much, but for the fact that my video view count dropped. And I'm like, gotta do something. Get some trimmed clips out. Work harder. And then earlier on the pre-show, Paul was saying, well, I'm working harder too, and I'm developing less from it. And you're like, wow, this is all sounding all too familiar. What a weird coincidence, right? Well, if you're a coincidence theorist, but for me, there's got to be a reason for the disconnect between a lack of material when there's nothing but people who are potential YouTubers churning out more content. But there we go. We won't figure it out. But boredom is obviously a key issue here. They want people to be bored. Don't know why, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to at least look into it. But at least take a channel recommendation away from that little rant. Thrice 8 Hermes. Not a particularly big YouTuber. Probably couple of hundred maybe subscribers. There you go. Check him out.
Oh.
Well,
Hey,
that,
Mind Warped.
when in that,
Hey, I'm not 7 muted.
Yeah, we've got you now. We can hear you.
Hey.
Yeah, I think it sounds like the robots removed you, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I've run 2 screens, and I was writing a letter on the other screen and accidentally left caps lock on, and the bot got me for caps lock, and then I think I was having a debate before and got a bit heated. So yeah, there's a bit of the two, and I got booted.
Yeah, booted for all caps. I like it. Don't shout in this Discord server.
Yeah, the bot was the final straw. Kicked me.
It is very quiet,
Thanks for the
though.
shout out. Anyway, that was a beauty.
Why is it so quiet? Makes no sense. Be in abundance. We should have an overflowing Discord server. Before all this happened, we were fighting to keep spaces on the panel, right? At one stage, Anthony Riley was, kicking people out and saying, look, if you're not going to talk, sod off, because there's not enough gaps, and then, we wait for a fundy to join so we can demolish him and his globe religion. Well, that isn't happening. You're like, well, why isn't it happening when there should be twice as many people watching, because there's twice as many available viewers? So,
You'd think, everyone's at home. Strange.
It is strange, isn't it? Why are people being in a position where they can get bored? Especially with YouTube, the amount of content on there. I should never watch the same video
This
twice.
is how bored I am. I'm literally programming a little ESP 32 board that's going to go on the bottom of my Mavic Pro drone, and it's going to run a server so I can lift up small packages and drop them.
Oh, cool.
So it's going to run a little servo with a little arm that opens and shuts. I don't know, for no reason. I'm just bored.
Fast forward 20 years and it's Mind Warp versus DHL and the drone wars of the sky with package delivery. Hey, Flatside, good to have you. Long time.
Yeah. I can use it to drop things to my neighbours, like food or something.
so social distancing drone
It's
by
pretty full on
Mind Warp.
lockdown over here.
One sec, Mind Warped. Hey, Flatside, good to have you. No sound, amigo.
Oh. How was the trip?
I don't think we've got any sound from him. Maybe try again, drop and rejoin, Flatside.
I haven't heard Flatside for ages.
I
I haven't actually been on the show for ages, so missed you all.
He just moved
Well, he
before all
moved.
this kicked off, so I assume he's been really busy.
Oh, he moved house.
Yeah, he moved to a larger city, got a better paying job, and just been in the process, I think.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, why has it gone quiet? That
Are
was
you guys?
before we got onto these.
Are you
sort of-
guys talking about the thing that we're not meant to talk about, or
talk about
or
whether
is
you
that
like
being?
as long as
Do you
it's-
get like demonetized and shut down if you talk about the?
I don't think that's
that
the case.
word?
No, I don't think so. I think if you pump out a load of disinformation, you might get your channel shut down. But I don't know, typically here we don't deal with that sort of nonsense. We've discussed people's opinions about their current situation. I don't think that's unreasonable. And obviously people are going to speculate in some form or another.
Yeah, I just. Are you guys in lockdown over there?
Yeah. Very few places that aren't in the Western
I'm in
world.
WA. We're actually full lockdown. Like WA is locked. The borders are shut down into states, so no one from over east can come over. And then we've got like regions in WA. So you've got like the Gascoyne, the Pilbara, and then you've got the southwest, the Wheat Belt. They're all these areas quite large, but they're all border locked as well. So if you're in the metro area, you can't go out of there. Like you actually have to stay in your city. You can't leave your city.
Doesn't that sound interesting, Mind Warp, that this virus is 98.54% recovery rate if you catch it, to lock down countries and counties for something that almost 99% of people will recover naturally.
Interesting.
Odd,
I find it hard to work it out. Yeah, I have questions about it. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure most people would do. It doesn't really seem to add up. I mean, yeah, it's I believe it's real and everything like that, but I don't know. Yeah, what to think of it really.
Do a quick couple of shout outs. Shout out to Cleary, who says, "You are like Mike Tyson, nobody wants to fight you." Yeah, there's always people that want to step up if there's enough people around, but thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Also, Guns of Navarone, RMP, says, "Just because you rock." Well, thank you very much for giving me money. I really do appreciate it. Thank you both of you for the super chats. Really appreciate your support.
Someone was trying.
Flatsoy, were you trying to speak?
Yeah, someone was trying to speak.
I think Flatsoy came back in, was trying to talk.
I heard a lot of mumbling.
He speaks. Do you think it's possible that it's just they've got so many people in this like fear panic mode that they can't turn away from it? Like mainstream people that they're stuck on the mainstream media and hoping to, turn on the news and find out when this corona nonsense is going to be done. I feel like people are just stuck. It's like, even if they want to come talk about flat earth or hear about it, they think, oh, maybe it's not as important right now because all this craziness is going on in the world,
Well,
Like
what I've really been noticing is just like the media is really playing like two sides. Like it's almost like they're intentionally confusing people so they don't know what to believe. That's my look at it. Like a lot of the main. Yeah, I can hear whoever that is.
Go, Elijah. Did you want to say something?
I was just checking it if I was serving muted. Sorry, guys.
No, we can hear. Yeah, I was just saying. Like it's just classic. Like this is just in my opinion. Like I just you look at like mind warfare and stuff like that, and it's just kind of it's like the media is playing both sides really, so people just don't know what to think and just to confuse people. And I don't know. I don't really know what to think. It's quite strange. It's a strange time.
Well, it's crazy when you see on one side, there are doctors that'll come out and say, "Where are the bodies?" Like this is not going down the way it's supposed to be. Hospitals are empty. What the hell is going on? And then you'll turn on another video and it's a doctor saying, "Oh, like the hospitals are overcrowded. It's crazy. I've never seen it like this. I just saw a nurse saying that shit the other day." I'm like, but for the past week, I've seen doctors and nurses saying, where's everybody? It's like,
Yeah,
what the hell?
that's
So it's like,
And
that's why
how do you discern? You know?
you've got to
that's
So,
really read into what they're saying, because when these deaths happen, right? If someone's been tested for coronavirus and they test positive and they die, even if it's not coronavirus that they die from, they're recorded as a coronavirus statistic. So like when they say like this person died, they're like, oh, this person was recently diagnosed with coronavirus and passed away, but they don't say of coronavirus. Like it's almost like, you know, anyone that's got it that dies, even if coronavirus didn't kill them, you know, they could have just been anything. They're a statistic. A classic example was here in Australia. There was a lady with Alzheimer's, and she died of like her Alzheimer's. She was in palliative care. It was nothing to do, but she tested positive for coronavirus because it was all through the palliative care unit. But it wasn't that killed her. She had no effects from it. She just died of her Alzheimer's stuff. But she was recorded down as a COVID, as a that you know a statistic, and that kind of just makes me look at it and go, I don't know.
Well, I look at this from because I want to be proactive. So my perspective is that this probably wouldn't be happening if more people knew the truth. Yeah.
Was that I think that was
That was the distorted tones of Flatsoid, I believe. Hey, Flatsoid.
I think it was Flatsoid.
Yeah, next Tuesday.
You got a really bad line.
That's right. Space is fake.
Yeah, Flatsoid, we can't really hear you much, brother.
Well, just while Flatsoid sorting his mic out, so quick shout out as it's on topic, and I think it's addressed to you, Elijah. So Rakia Life says, "Battle of the puns is real. Pandemic." Shout out to 10th Man. Ballers, share your pain.
Why is it that every time Elijah wants to talk, he never gets to talk lately?
Thank you, 10th. I'm just saying that I found this is a good opportunity to spread the word, the truth. And that is that the earth is flat, because there are just certain opportunities that open up, like people who don't wear masks. You can ask them, why don't you wear a mask? And if they're open-minded enough, yeah, you can pull that trigger. You can ask them about flat earth. Why not? Because there's something going on, everybody knows. And what's going on for sure, and I'm going to make this positive claim, is that the media is telling unverifiable information. That's what we know.
I 100% agree with you there. Yeah.
Hold on.
So we need people to, so we just need that. We need people to realize what verifiable versus unverifiable information is. And I would like to slip in like a serpent, maybe serpent's not the best word, and whisper a little flat earth into their ear. It's easy pickings these days, guys.
To realize that, like, the mainstream media is fear driven. All right, so like, you know, when this comes out and they push the fear porn, like, they get more views. You know, so that's, you can't really go by, you know, a lot of what they say. That's just my opinion, but
yeah,
it's kind of hard to find real good, honest journalism in the major mainstream news outlets.
Sure. Hold on. Elijah's point was that he was describing his flat earth evangelism during these troubling times, right?
Yeah,
I know. No, but he did talk about I thought it segued into that. So I'm sorry if it didn't.
I can tie it together if you want. I mean, you're saying during a time with overt deception in the news, you're going to have a position where people are slightly more open because they can potentially see that deception. And Elijah's point was that if they're not wearing a mask, maybe they've seen through the deception, and it's worth having a little nibble and saying, hello, do you not believe that you really need to be wearing a mask?
Yeah.
And if they go, yeah, I don't believe any of that old nonsense, and you go, did you know that space, that sky up there, isn't a vacuum. They go, what? They go, well, it's claiming the sky's a vacuum, isn't it? Obviously not. The gas we're breathing would fill that space. Have a nice day.
That's the perfect segue, because like you look at the way this has been portrayed in the media, and then you look at the way flat Earth is portrayed in the media. You know, like you just whatever narrative they try to push, they'll just push it. So.
You mean I'm not a flat Earth evangelist? And go on. Sorry, Elijah.
No, I'm saying that's what I've been doing all week. Because there's a Rite Aid next to where I live, and I notice everyone is masked up except for this one hippie-looking young kid, and he works there. And I just, he's always asking me questions because one time we had an interesting encounter. I forget that one, but yesterday I finally asked him, hey, what do you think about the nature of our world, like where we live? And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, you know what? Never mind. I'll see you tomorrow. Because I know I'm going to see him every day. I've been nipping at him.
Planted that seed. He planted that seed.
So what's in it for you?
Nathan, can I say something?
Yeah, whoever that was.
Yeah. That was Marcus.
This is Marcus.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you guys heard Dr. Shiva. He's from the US talking about the current corrupt medical system. Have you heard about him?
Yes, of course.
Dr. Sheila. Is that his...
Shiva.
It's his surname.
Shiva.
Oh, Dr. Okay, that's fine, yeah.
Yes.
It's not like Dr. Dave or something, right?
No, this is an actual
So
doctor.
he's
He's an actual doctor and a really awesome guy. He's like in the Senate in the USA. His parents were originally from India. Very smart guy, very awesome, very free-minded.
Okay,
and he's all over the place.
My bad for not knowing Marcus, but we're in an arena where we're surrounded by pretenders that describe themselves as things like Dr. Becky. And when I hear what I think is a Christian name, I just sort of immediately react, right, are we dealing with a pretender clown? But thanks to Arwin, we've got clarity. So do you want to carry on, Marcus? Go ahead with your actual point.
I'm actually following two doctors right now who are very independent in their thinking, and they're against the current system, which is the medical system, which basically is a Rockefeller backed education, right? So this Dr. Shiva is actually exposing Fauci. Yeah, so
whoever that is,
he is exposing Fauci, the advisor for Trump, and Bill Gates as well, and the other, deep state players. So just want to share that, guys. As well as, Dr. Kaufman, who has very interesting points, including the difference of how they tested COVID-19. It's really 80% giving false positives. So you guys should look into it.
The actual what they actually the swab that they're swabbing for, it's not actually a virus that they're actually picking up. It's actually a protein that is in your lungs that you get when you're sick, and just when you're sick, you tend to have more of this enzyme. So all they're doing when they haven't actually mapped I don't know if I'm going to say it because I don't want to get you struck or anything, Nathan.
Why would you think
because they seem to be crowding down on it.
Why are we talking about these?
Number one, yeah, exactly. Number one, why are we talking about it? And number two, why do you think this is going to get me struck? It's just your opinion.
The general oversight is kind of good, okay? But why are we talking about the details here? Come on.
Yeah. The COVID.
I tried.
Hold on, everyone pipe down just for a sec. So, COVID's real, right? It's a real thing. As in, if you were to assert...
I'm not saying it isn't. Yeah.
I didn't say you were. I'm just saying it is. And you're getting into the minutiae of how they test for it. Okay? So, I don't really get the point.
It's just deep state politics, China versus America. It's the new game. That's
This
what
whole
they're all doing now.
It's just fear. All of it is based predominantly around fear. And as long as you're scared about something, I'm not saying you are scared about your channel getting shut down, but there are certain people who are like, oh, gotta watch what I say. It's like, we're in a pandemic, and Corona is the name of the pandemic. So talking about it and having an opinion about it, why would that get your channel shut down? However, if you say...
Didn't get it shut down. I've just been on a couple of live streams where where we've been talking about it. The stream's actually like just being cut, and then like the video was actually deleted off the YouTube channel, not by them.
Perfect.
So that's why I was just being cautious. Yeah.
So that's much more relevant. That's something I would like to talk about. That would be classified as censorship, in your opinion. Yeah. But then we have to find out what's being talked about. What was the subject? Why would it get shut down? Was something said that was potentially fear porn or propaganda or misinformation or disinformation? Could it be classed as those things? Was it actually the truth that was being suppressed? We need to know all those things. Those are all interesting and relevant.
And all the topics that have been spoken about were pretty relevant. Like, yeah.
I tend to think that it has to do with the title, maybe, or the description, because I watch independent resources that battle the same thing, and all they do is change their titles.
I think that's true. There's a very, very excellent, in fact, transcription service that's now available. I have it permanently turned on when I'm watching anything. So if there's background noise, as there often is here, I can still read the subtitles. And it'll do it. It's good enough to do on certain live shows. Some people get it, some people don't. I don't think I get it. I know Jaren does, though. So Jarenism, if you watch his live show, it's transcribed live. I think that's pretty slick. So therefore, it's just as easy for them to go through the transcription and see what we're saying.
It's cool. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, they're literally transcribing live events.
But yeah, so I was gonna say that again, to my earlier point, it's a unique opportunity to speak to people because everyone is scared. Their minds are malleable. And so we know that there's one narrative out there. Why talk about the narrative that's been placed? We should be emptying people's minds of that crap and telling them about flat Earth.
Because that's an impossibility, unfortunately. And I'm trying to do it on this very show, aren't I? And I'm still failing. You know, there's reached a point where I've basically said, well, no matter what I try and do or say, this deeply affects everybody. Regardless of what I want to talk about on the show, people are going to want to talk about it, and they are. So I'm not concerned in the slightest that what they talk about is going to get my show shut down. But by the same token, it's like, yeah, I agree with you. I would much prefer to be talking about what I consider to be the biggest deception in mankind's history, which is the very nature of the ground you stood upon. I think that's much, much, much bigger. Claim to be much, much, much older, and also affects absolutely everybody, and half of them aren't even aware of it. Whereas at least at some conscious level, people are aware of this and might even be aware that they're being deceived in some way.
I understand that
100%
point,
agree with
but
you.
How about the very nature of biology? That's a pretty damn big revelation as well, and just the nature of our personal vessel, as it were. I think that is pretty big as well. But yeah, it's that you just touch upon that when you get into the corona conspiracy.
Hold on. We give the audience that we have, Arwin, on this particular show, and especially on Quantum Eraser's shows, are armed with certain tools to question the validity of things that are labelled as science. There are plenty of pretender clowns in biology. Now, there's also plenty of controlled studies that are disclaimed exactly as such. Now, in this particular instance, if we were, oh my God, Corona Earth debate, then maybe we would be questioning the validity of the scientific evidence and pointing out that statistical analysis isn't scientific evidence. Now, that isn't what the show is about. It doesn't alter the fact that everybody wants to talk about it because everyone's affected by it. So fine, you know, at some point I've just got to throw in the towel and go, okay, fine. You know, there's going to be certain points where I've just got to bite my tongue. But ultimately,
Isn't that wizard?
Go on.
No, never give in, Nathan. Never give in.
Well, I'm only concerned that people are scared.
I want a corona-free flat Earth debates too, you know?
Yeah, me too.
Well, I was going to just say...
Do we have any globies here?
I was going to say that what they're doing is wizardry, because what it is Nathan's correct. The flat Earth is the biggest. The nature of our Earth and what it is. And what we're standing on, not being a sphere, is the biggest conversation you could ever have. What the opposition is trying to do, they are trying to create this false effect that no one can verify. And they're trying to pass it off as the biggest thing in the world right now. That's just a lie. It's just an illusion.
Be careful.
No cowbell.
Stop. You've got to be careful. You're describing a false effect when it's not. When you phrase things such, it can be deemed to an audience member that you're saying the effects of corona are not real. And that simply is not true. I don't doubt for a second that even if there was a over-publicised handful of cases where the doctor's like, well, actually, this person died of bronchitis, and yeah, they had corona, they did test positive, but I don't want to put that on the death certificate. Well, while that might be true in some... Hold on, I've got a point. While that might be true in some cases, it doesn't alter the fact that it is real. Now, some people would say, well, yeah, it is real, and look at the low statistical analysis compared to other diseases. It's like, well, that is kind of a straw man also, given their argument, which in itself is a logical fallacy, it's an appeal to the future, but ultimately speaking, it is still a straw man to their argument. So you've got to be careful when you start saying that it's fake, because it isn't.
Yes.
And I just want to make myself clear. Like I wasn't saying that either, because like what I was referring to was
hold
that
on a second.
a lot of people that are passing away.
Hold on. I was talking to Elijah.
Are being.
Not even what I
God, mind warped. I was
Yeah.
talking to Elijah.
Stop.
And heard you, mine heard that. Yeah, I misspoke. I'm not speaking about the virus itself and what that may be. I'm speaking about the mainstream narrative and the effect that has.
Yeah, how they present the information. Absolutely, you've got to carefully pore over it and consider it. And the public in the States have been made aware that there is an allowance made in their media for propaganda. That was made over a couple of years ago. So, people have got to be cognizant of the fact that there could be, certain narratives being pushed through the media. But where you will get your channel shut down is when you overtly start saying things that are literally not true. I.e., you could say corona's fake. Well, no, it isn't. No, it's been documented for many, many years. You can trace it back through various medical dictionaries, back through the 80s. It's there in the viruses section.
Correct.
So, no, it's not fake. Now, could you argue legitimately that, well, no, all they've done is started counting the numbers, and the numbers were the same prior to them clocking them all on little ticker counters? That would be a much better argument.
You could also
Just want to apologize. My bandwidth is really bad here, so if it does seem like I'm over talking, it probably is just due to my delay. So just sorry in advance, because our internet here in Australia at the moment, or in Perth in general, is just shocking.
But yeah, much agreed, Nathan. Thank you for making that up.
A way to
Thank you
easily
for doing
bypass
that.
it is instead of saying corona is fake, you say the corona threat is fake. You could do that. Because
Why?
the
But
technically
that's not true
the
either.
implied threat forwarded by the mainstream media, that part seems to be fake. And the statistics afterward,
You
and
mean the
reports
numbers?
from nurses
I
and
guess
all that
we have to just
kind of
package it.
support
Hold on,
that.
okay, just let Alwyn finish.
It wasn't done yet, dude.
Let him finish. Go ahead, Alwyn.
I was just finishing up. It's just, if you call it the corona threat and not corona itself as a virus, then you'd be more technically correct, because then you'd imply the threat from the media, the media implied threat of corona.
Gotcha.
And
So
it's
you're
gonna
saying
kill all the world, and
it's a concise way of saying the word threat is to concisely describe the appeal to the future fallacy that's being used. So threat, yeah, good word, because it implies something that is to happen, future tense. Well, appeal to the future fallacy is the whole point. Well, very concise, Arwen. Yes, exactly correct. Anyway, about that physical geometric Earth curve edge that's been destroyed by the Black Swan. Oh yeah, no, everyone's preoccupied with their own death and mortality. And
Can I play devil's advocate on something, Dave?
hold on, let's just divine your thoughts. Is this about 5G?
No. It's
thank
about
Jesus.
Comet Atlas that was supposedly discovered December 28th, and is going to be coming into view so everyone can see it with their bare eyes, supposedly in the next few weeks. Just what everyone's take is on that, and what your take is on it, Nath, because I know
Comet.
it's going to be brought up, and
Well,
I don't know.
exactly a comet.
I don't know.
A comet in the sky.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
In what regards? Do I reify it into a physical rock that might hit us? Absolutely not. Will it be a pretty light in the sky? Probably.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah. So when it's in the sky, like, as from a flat Earth perspective, what's going on there? Like, it's an interesting one.
I've no idea. From a flat Earth perspective, it's a light in the sky that I cannot go to, check, verify. I can't do any of those things. But that applies to all of the lights in the sky. Well, there's obviously some exceptions. There are physical things that you can see going past, like aeroplanes. But beyond that, I mean, those lights are just twinkly lights.
I get my P900 and my P1000 out and take photos of the moon and the stars regularly, and they just stars in particular, they look strange, in my opinion. Yeah. They are just pretty lights in the sky. Because, I mean, have you seen stars through a P900? You had the P900 there for a while before it went to Arwen.
I had a telescope, so yes, but I would class that as better.
Yeah, it would be better, yeah. But they look almost like, the way I would describe it, it looks like a fertilized egg that's been broken down into and split multiple times, but with like a watery effect over the top. Don't you reckon it looks like that?
No.
It looks like a...
That's a focusing issue with the P900.
No,
so there's a couple of videos out there that show this. So
No. When I get right up there, like, it looks bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah, that effect is definitely a P900 and P1000, because they're both using the same sensor and focusing system. Well,
but their sensors are terrible, especially in low light.
But in any event, it is definitely a focusing issue. So I only know this because I owned a telescope. So people were putting up videos of various different planets and stars, and they looked wrong, and I had no idea what was going on, because they didn't look like that to me in a telescope. And then a few people on the other side of the argument, of course, came along and debunked them and said, no, one of them described like putting a piece of paper in front of it and letting it focus and then taking the paper away and things like that to get it to overcome this glitch, if you will, with the camera equipment. But as I say, there's nothing mechanical about a telescope other than a slight focusing adjustment that you can make on the lens that you look through. But beyond that, there's very little to it. And I didn't get what was being showed to me back in 2000. I can't remember if it was 2014 or somewhere about then. And I'm like looking at these things going, this makes no sense. And it was all shot through P900s. And then I found out why. And I've not replicated it. I've not seen this done live because I don't know P900. But I saw the videos, and I can only assume they're pretty close to what you'd see if you had the viewfinder, if not better. And it, like I say, it didn't look like that through a telescope. The best
I have a telescope, and I also had one and it had the mount that you could put the camera onto the islands. But I ended up, I don't have either anymore, because what actually happened is I had it set up outside during the day. So I was just, trying to find a few things in the sky that just looked a bit weird. And anyway, like while I sat it there, I went inside and had lunch, and the sun moved across into the spot that I was zoomed up on, and I looked out the back door and I could see smoke coming out of the telescope, and it burnt all my internals in the telescope, and it burnt out my camera as well.
Oh no.
So yeah, pretty funny. It was a funny story. So I've got to get a new telescope.
I'll make a recommendation though. So there's a channel called Take Back Space TV, and it's run by a guy called Christie, and he does live streaming with he's really good at it. He's been doing it for a very long time now with good equipment, so he's upgraded over the years, and he's got a live stream that runs. He plays his own music in the background, and predominantly he's looking at the moon a lot because it's the most interesting thing up there. But he's got really good muscle memory, and he's tracked the ISS going across the sky like in real time. I think he even did it on a live stream. Just goes to show how good he is at this, because anybody who's tried to do that will know that is nigh on impossible. But he's managed it. He's done it. So it's one of those things that Christie, if someone was, offering bets on whether or not anybody could capture this, I'd say, well, potentially if it's in his night sky, then Christie could capture that. Not he will, but it's certainly within the realms of possibility because he's that good. So check him out. A lot of
Films
people.
in 4K as well.
Say again?
It's quite good. I just subbed. I just saw it. He films in 4K as well, which is good.
Yeah, he's upgraded over the time. So he started off with a Sony camera, and having the battery pack in it and hooked up to a telescope, it was overheating. Because he was running it for a long period of time, and he's figured out the whys and wherefores of doing it in a way that he can stream for a long period without his equipment overheating. Well, the shutter's just basically open permanently, isn't it? Anyway, Take Back Space TV.
Yeah.
Take Back Space TV is the name of the channel. Check him out. Christie, tell him I said hi.
I've just stopped. The icon's cool.
Nathan?
With 5 minutes left on the show, we might get back to 10th Man's question about why it's so quiet in regards to Globers.
Because they can't defeat the Black Swan.
Yeah.
Got an echo.
I really feel like they're defeated.
You're right, Elijah.
You notice that the word Black Swan was never really used until we had a bit of the economic collapse thing happen, and then all the economists were using the word Black Swan event, and now it's kind of like the go-to word everywhere. I've just noticed everyone's using it.
That's
Which
correct.
is another perfect.
I just want to hear from 10th Man just before.
Universal.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
There is a whole load of news quotes that are tied into this, but we'll go through them in a minute. Go on, 10th Man.
Yeah, it's the Black Swan event. We saw it coming before the current situation, and now it's the current situation, and now Black Swan's being used for a lot of things, economic and everything else. And I could just imagine a baller getting hit with the Black Swan about their curvature not being there where it's supposed to be, and then turning on the news and being hit with Black Swan on their dollar. They're just overwhelmed.
Do you not think that's keyword manipulation, though?
Yeah,
Know where Black
but,
Swans
I mean,
are native to? My hometown of Perth.
That's
They are our animal. Yeah, they're our coat of arms animal, the Black Swan.
cool. That's cool.
And
Perth.
can I have like 30 seconds?
Yeah, go ahead.
So another. Oh,
Hold on. Go ahead. Is that Marcus?
It was Marcus, yeah.
So I was just gonna say, I would like to thank you guys, Nathan and Kiwi, and all the panel members. You guys opened my eyes into using the scientific method and the going back to the basic, because if something's gonna knock on my door and tell me that I'm positive, I'm gonna really look into the basic, into how did they prove that I'm positive in COVID. I'm just saying.
Absolute pleasure. But in regards to this Black Swan situation, I'd just like to say that, the end is on the horizon, and all we need to do is flatten that curve. With that, I'll say if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Of course, a massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels for making this live show possible. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!